And welcome to part 4 of episode 56 of Top Rope Reality here on the YouTube. I'm Hogan.
And I'm Jessica.
And let's get talking about Macho Madness tournament in May.
We're finishing up in May.
Because this is the finals. And we have the number 3 seed Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, a 3-time Intercontinental Champion.
He's number 3 seed and he's a 3-time champion. That's weird.
Taking on the number 2 seed, the Macho Man, the Macho King, Randy Savage,
Madness.
a 1-time Intercontinental Champion.
Yes, sure.
Now let's talk about these two here, and we're going to decide, not this week.
Nope.
Oh, we'll know up here.
This is right
But
here.
next week we will reveal who we think, who Top Rope Reality believes is the true winner of the Macho Madness tournament in May winner. And also the greatest Intercontinental champion of all time.
That's true.
So, I know a lot of people say, the Honky Tonk Man will always be. Yes, Honky has his honky fans.
Yes, he does.
But this is Top Rope Reality, and this is who we believe is the true
That's
greatest.
Right. So we're going to talk about Shawn Michaels.
Let's talk about Shawn Michaels since he is in the opening spot there.
He is the number 3 seed. Ladies and gentlemen, 3-time champion for a total reign of 406 days.
Hell, I mean, we can get that out of 7 or 8 reigns this day and time, which is so sad.
It is so sad. He won the title from British Bulldog, who was a 1-time champ. Marty Jannetty, who, weirdly, why, is a 1-time champ.
Yep.
And Jeff Jarrett, who is 3 times champion when beat 6 times total.
Yes. He also.
Yes. Big time. So he lost the title
To Marty Jannetty.
to Marty Jannetty because that's when he got it back, I guess. 1-time champ. He was stripped because that's when he lost this. Did he lose his smile there?
Yeah, he lost his smile there, and he was stripped of the championship because he didn't defend it in the 30 days, which used to be a rule. I know, ladies and gentlemen, 30 days used to be a rule. So like, if you didn't defend the title 30 days, they took it off of you.
He lost his smile
whatever.
and got stripped of the belt, and then he forfeited the belt to Dean Douglas, who's a 1-time champion, because
you know why he forfeited?
he was beat up supposedly in an alley by a bunch of Marines.
He got his ass whooped.
Supposedly.
To be nice about it.
Supposedly by a bunch of Marines.
Probably going to rehab.
Probably going to rehab.
Yeah, so see, he lost to Marty, got stripped of the title, and lost to Dean Douglas. Shane Douglas would have been better for the Shawn Michaels scale on people to lose to.
Not Dean.
But not Dean Douglas.
Right. He's number 8 on the list of combined days, and he's number 1 on the list of reigns and days.
Yes. If you look at all the 3-time champions, he is number 1.
Right.
With the most days.
He's the 18th different IC champion in history. So when they go boom, 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 he's number 18,
He's number 18
that ever
yes.
won it.
Ever won, yes.
Very interesting. Who he beat.
Because I know there's ones like Tito won it twice in that reign, but Tito, you can't count Tito twice.
You don't count him twice.
He's the 18th different.
Different, yes. Who he beat as IC champion either by a pin, a count out, or a DQ.
He beat the British Bulldog.
Yes, he did.
He beat Marty Jannetty twice.
2 times.
He beat Crush. He beat Mr. Perfect. He beat Jeff Jarrett, Buddy Landell, Razor Ramon, and the man who was coming to Russell Kane, Tatanka.
Yes.
Who he lost to as Intercontinental Champion, either by pin, count out, or disqualification.
Yes.
Bob Backlund.
Interesting.
Tatanka.
Interesting.
Crush. Marty Jannetty. Twice to Razor Ramon and to Dean Douglas.
Because it's considered a loss because of the forfeit.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that is the demographics, the stats, if you will, for shit. Knackers.
And now on to the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Killing my voice, by the way.
Come on, too. He is a 1-time Intercontinental Champion.
1 time, people, hear this number.
He held the title for 414 days.
414.
He won the title. He won the title from Tito Santana, a 2-time Intercontinental Champion.
Yes.
And he lost the title to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, a one-time
In one of the
champion.
greatest matches of all time at WrestleMania 3.
He is 7th on the list of combined days and 2nd on the list of reigns and days.
Right.
He's the 7th different Intercontinental Champion in history. Who he beat for the title, beat as Intercontinental Champion by pinfall, countout, and disqualification. George Animal Steel 4 times. That's a little crazy there.
It is a little crazy.
Tito Santana and Ricky Steamboat.
Interesting.
Who he lost to as Intercontinental Champion either by pin, countout, or disqualification. Twice to Tito Santana, once to Pedro Morales, and once to Ricky Steamboat.
Interesting.
And that is the stats for
That's the stats.
Randy Macho Man Savage.
So now that you've heard the stats, you can think to yourself, who should win? We've got a diving elbow versus a diving elbow. We have, of course, the diving elbow versus the super kick. So, very interesting.
I mean, on the
Shawn
moves-
took the move from Randy. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah, Shawn took the move. You're right, that's true. Shawn took the move from Randy, which is a nice little
But you've
tribute.
got to get to the top rope.
Gotta
You
get
have to get to the top rope to do the diving elbow. You can hit anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place
with a super kick.
with a super kick.
Mhm.
Just like that.
And you're done for.
And you're done. Flushing that shit. Boom.
That's right.
So,
Man, who do you? I mean, we've talked behind the cameras.
we have talked behind the camera's back. Okay.
And we kind of have we're straddling the fence because you got both.
We're right there.
I mean,
Whee!
what argument could jump to Shawn?
Yes. Because, I mean,
What
it's a
argument
super kick.
could jump to Savage? I mean, that right there is either way.
If you go by the super kick, Shawn should win. But if you go by Intercontinental Champion, what they did as Intercontinental Champion, you should go with Macho Man because he only had one reign and he held it for 414 days, whereas 406 days, Shawn had it 3 different times.
Yep.
He didn't even succeed in beating the number of reigns
Nope.
or the number of days
Mhm.
in the 3 reigns.
No.
So you could have different arguments for different situations.
Oh yes.
So we will find out next week. Are you, not us,
We think we know.
you, the internet wrestling community out there on YouTube, will find out next week who is the greatest Intercontinental Champion according to Top Rope Reality's Mike Hogan and Justice Cat.
Oh yes. And a lot of you out there will be surprised.
You will be surprised. And you may get madly angry. You might already be mad because Honky Tonk Man's not in the finals.
That's right.
Too bad.
There's a lot of honky fans out there.
There's a lot of Honky fans. I
So
like
let's-
Honky Tonk.
Let's get on with our next little part here. The 100 wrestling pay-per-views you must see before you croak with key matches.
With key matches, number 90 is Ring of Honor. The name of the pay-per-view. Joe versus Punk 2 in 2014. We only hoped, once he quit in 2015, we get it again. 2004. Not a 1. There wasn't a 1 in there. My gosh. Key matches. Right? Wasn't that?
I know.
Key matches, which I would hope this would be a key match.
It should be the only match.
It's
was it?
called Samoa Joe versus Punk 2.
Yeah.
So obviously the key match is Punk versus Joe. And then Alex Shelley versus Jimmy Jacobs. I wonder how good that match is to be in the key match of Joe versus Punk.
It's got to be pretty good.
It's gotta be pretty good to be in the key match of Joe versus Punk.
That's true.
Weird, huh?
Number 89. Now, we're getting on 89. We're
89.
We're one step closer to
We're
one.
on the fast lane to the road to the end of this countdown.
WWE's No Way Out 2006.
Shit.
Not 2016.
Not 2016.
The key
Ooh,
matches
predicted
was
future.
The Undertaker versus Kurt Angle for the world title.
That had to be a great match.
Randy Orton versus Ray. Booyaka 619 Mysterio. Chris Benoit versus Booker T for the WCW United States title.
What?
What?
It was not the WCW United States title in 2006.
Might have been.
It was not. The WCW name went away when they combined the IC and the US title.
I didn't type it up.
Because people are stupid. They're stupid.
Well, look it up on the network.
I don't have to look it up. It wasn't the WCW title. WCW's US title combined with the
Well, No Way Out
Intercontinental
was also NWO, if no one can figure that out.
title. But back in like 2001, they got rid of the U.S. title and then they brought it back later. So it was the WWE U.S.
Well,
title.
the person who wrote this up probably loved WCW so much that he wanted to put down WCW.
I'm a big fan of WCW too, but guess what? I'm not going to mess up that. My gosh. That pisses me off.
It was Chris Benoit versus Booker T for the U.S. title.
U.S. title, thank you. Number 88, the WWF Royal Rumble 2000.
I bet you the Royal match is one of the key matches.
I wonder. Key matches: Triple H versus Cactus Jack in a street fight for the WWF title. I wonder if that was the one. And Madison Square Garden. It was a good match. A lot of barbed wire, a lot of tags.
A lot of head shots with chairs.
No, that was The Rock.
That was another time, okay.
That was
I knew.
It was like 20 headshots. It was insane.
I knew.
And yet he still writes all these books and could actually articulate words to get hit in the head 20 times. It's ridiculous. The Dudleys versus the Hardys for the WWF tag team titles in a tables match. And then that's weird. Taz, probably his debut.
It was.
Versus Kurt Angle. He actually beat Kurt Angle on his debut.
Yes, he did.
Interesting. They must have really liked him back then. What happened? Taz versus Kurt Angle, and then of course, one of the key matches is the Royal Rumble match. I wonder who was the winner. I think that's probably Austin.
Could be.
Austin was always
Number 87, TNA's
Final
Final Resolution,
Landed with
2005.
You hate TNA.
Key matches: The Ultimate X.
I do like the Ultimate X.
That's always a good one.
I always like that.
And America's Most Wanted versus Team Canada.
Must be good.
And,
no world championship. Only 2 matches. The last time we did this, there was a TNA pay-per-view. It was only 2 matches.
It's sad.
It is sad. And they have like 10 or 12 back in the days. And then number 86, the WWF SummerSlam. SummerSlam. Speaking of part 2, you know.
Oh yeah.
SummerSlam. We might get to this one soon.
Well, it sounds like it's pretty good.
1998. Key matches was Triple H versus The Rock in a ladder match. I remember they had a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker for the WWF title. And that's weird. That must have been when he cut all his hair off. I see, said the blind man.
Which helped his career. I mean, helped his head.
It did. It helped his head. It helped his head.
It did. As soon as you look and go, you got to trim that stuff.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
All crazy.
I mean, that day and age, that hair was ridiculous.
Yes.
X-Pac, who's got the long and greasy and all, he looked like he just bathed in a bowl of grease.
Okay. That's X-Pac for you.
X-Pac. Taking on Jarrett.
Then you go J-E, double F,
J-A,
double R-E, double D, double J.
Is F-I-R-E-D. That's Vince McMahon would say. It was the hair versus hair match, and we finally got Mr. What was his name back then? Don't Piss Me Off, Jeff Jarrett.
Right.
Remember that shirt?
Oh yes.
Later on became Slapnut. Anyway, cut his hair, did the whole Sting flat top.
It did.
Got the Sting flat top. It was a whole lot better than that long hair.
If you can't beat them, cut your hair like them.
That is so true. So now we're
And he should have just cut all of his hair off and just look like Hogan.
Hogan, yes. You might have won a bunch of matches.
And speaking of Hogan, nice segue there.
Nice segue. We're getting better at this, ladies and gentlemen. In 56 episodes, we're getting so much better.
We are textbook professionals.
Textbook professionals.
Wrestlers who Hulk Hogan refused to lose against. Number 3 is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
Woo!
Woo! Because, ironically, this is in part 4.
Okay, reader.
When Ric Flair finally arrived in the then WWF, he was on an instant roll, culminating in winning the WWF Championship at Royal Rumble in 1982 with a tear in my eye.
The best Royal Rumble.
With a tear in my eye. Okay. Sorry. It's a great promo, by the way.
It is a great.
Go look it up.
He proclaimed that was the best championship they ever have.
Yes. Even though he never had it, let me do it. As soon as Flair arrived in the company, all fans were hoping for the dream match of the Uber Hip. Flair versus the Uberface.
I was.
Hogan. Me too.
Oh. And what perfect place? WrestleMania. Come on.
Even though I was only like 4.
2 people you never thought would have a match.
Yes.
WrestleMania. It writes itself.
I say I was looking forward to it. I was only like 4 years old. Something like that. But anyway, looking back at it now, it would have been great.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, that seemed like a no-brainer main event for WrestleMania 8. What actually ended up headlining WrestleMania 8 was Hogan versus Sid, I broke my leg in half, Vicious. while Flair lost the WWF title to Randy Savage in a brilliant match in the middle of the card, which was actually billed as part of a double main event.
We'll throw you a bone. That's what that pretty much was.
Yes. Hogan would then
Because Hogan and Sid should have been in the middle of the card.
Yes, the pay-per-view should have ended with the title. Hogan would then take a break from the company while Flair would leave the WWF in early
Cause
93.
Early 93. Hold your 93 right there.
Hold but 93.
Because Flair and Savage, even though we didn't get Flair and Hogan, Flair and Savage had the better storyline. The world title should have ended the pay-per-view.
She was mine before she was yours.
It had the pictures of them together. It was perfect writing. I loved it.
It's great. It's great.
Okay, go
Now,
ahead.
in fairness to the Hulkster, the issue with Flair was down to both of these huge superstars. Both with massive egos, with Hogan having ruled the WWF roost, and Flair styled and profiled at the top of the NWA and WCW. The two are both hesitant to do the job,
The J.O.B.
to the other. It's been put on record that Flair actually played a key role getting Hogan to sign for the WCW in '94. And the two are known to have generally been on good terms with each other for the most part over the decades. Still, when Hogan did sign for WCW, the initial plan was for him to defeat Flair for the WCW title before dropping it back to the Flair and then reclaiming it. Back and forth, back and forth.
Oh, yeah, I love the back and forth, back and forth.
The first part of this plan went down fine, with Hogan defeating Flair at the '94 Bash of the Beach. Once in possession of the gold, the Hulkster would decide against dropping the title, as he believed that the fans weren't ready to see him lose the belt so soon.
Yeah, I can't lose it this quickly.
Key to all of this, of course, is that his WCW contract gave him complete creative control over his
Bad
character.
idea, people.
Yes. And so meant he could do whatever he wanted. Flair would end up defeating Hogan for the WCW title years later to a shady fast count at uncensored 1999. Before we go any further,
Yes.
let's talk about this, okay? Flair was the main person in helping get Hogan to WCW, which means why would it have been in his ego about losing to Hogan in WrestleMania 8? And he was fine with losing to Savage. Why wouldn't he have been fine losing to Flair? I mean, to Hogan.
No.
It sounds like to me.
You do what you have to do.
Right.
He's losing the title. Lose the title to Hogan.
Sounds like to me they knew that Flair was going to lose the belt. And since Hogan was taking a break from the company, it would not have worked for Hogan to win the belt. But they could have held the belt up. If he had to take a break, he could have been taken out, injured, and then the belt could have been held up.
Yeah, you could have had a new 4 horsemen. Flair and a bunch of other guys. Could
Right.
have took Hogan out. Hogan wins the belt at WrestleMania. Flair and a new set of guys, giving 3 guys a big push in the company.
Right.
Could have took Hogan out. There you go. And you have a tournament. I know Flair. I know Vince hates tournaments for some reason, but hey, tournaments bring money.
That's true.
People love the King of the Ring tournament.
That is true. So, and that's my whole thing. They say it's this big ego thing, but clearly, Flair was fine with losing
And
to
you
Savage.
know back then, and you'll know today, when you got to do the job, you do the job. That is your job. If you're supposed to lose somebody, you suck it up like a man and
That's
you
right.
lay down and do the job.
Because like CM Punk says, it's a fiction.
Yeah, it's fake.
I mean, it is, the whole...
Will it hurt anything? No.
No.
Look, okay. We thought Hunter would do the job.
Right.
But Steen
Did the job.
signed the contract to come to WWE. Why would he sign a contract if he's going to lose at WrestleMania? But guess what he did? He lost at
So
WrestleMania.
it didn't bother him, apparently.
No.
So...
I mean, you do what you're supposed to be paid to do.
Right. So I think it's more of Hogan leaving the company is maybe the why they went that route of not having the two of them. But they could have just had Hogan. See, that's the other. That's where you got to look at it. Hogan beat Sid, did he not?
Yes.
Okay. See, if it would have been the other way around.
Papa Shango was late. Warrior show back up.
Right. So if you think about it.
I mean, it was all a big
If
cluster.
you really, exactly. But if you think about it, if Hogan would have went against Flair and they knew Hogan was leaving the company for a while, then Flair would have kept the belt. Maybe that's where the ego comes
Hogan
into
could
play.
have won by disqualification.
True.
You could have had the still same ending of Warrior returning.
Right.
Because people could beat on,
Right. But the same time, maybe that's what he wanted to win.
Maybe have Sid come down. He has Savage earlier in the
Right.
match. He comes down. It's Flair and Sid beating on. Forget about Papa Shango, who can't get a
yes.
cue. Have Sid and Flair beat on Sid and Flair beat on Hogan, and have Warrior, who made his return with a goofy ass haircut. Sorry, but that was a terrible haircut. So Bobby, it was so. Like, what happened? Did Brutus get out of your hair? No $10 for me to cut your hair.
Oh, Lord.
Have a Warrior come back and save Hogan.
Yes.
It writes itself. Hogan goes away. Flair keeps the belt.
And then
Hogan
you
gets the
have-
WrestleMania win.
Then you have Flair and you have Warrior.
And then you have Flair and Warrior, or you have Hogan and Flair again at SummerSlam
Right.
of that year
Exactly.
for the title with a cage. And throw a cage, so no interference. Nothing
Right.
happened.
So either way, they could have done it. There's egos.
We don't
involved.
write for these people. We write for ourselves because we are fresh, ideal people up here,
That's right.
folks.
But either way, it just shows to me that if he was willing to help get Hogan signed to help the company and willing to lose the belt to him,
Yeah,
it sounds like
first
it's
match, first pay-per-view,
Exactly.
in the new company. And you
sounds like it's a Hogan ego thing, not a Flair ego thing.
Oh, that's
if
what
I
it
was
said?
Hogan, if I was Flair, I'd be pissed the fact that he was supposed to get the belt back, and then he's like, nah, I'm not gonna lose to him.
Well, guess what, son? That's been the whole list of Hogan.
Oh, I know.
Hogan's getting
But
what
the way they
Hogan,
wrote it.
Yes, Hogan's getting what Hogan wants, and then when
Right.
Hogan's supposed to return, oh, my knee hurts.
Right.
Oh, I'm hurt. I
But the
can't
way
do
they
this.
wrote it made it sound like it was both egos.
Oh,
Clearly,
yes.
it could have been both egos, and Flair was fine with bringing
I
him
mean,
in.
Flair, you're not human if you don't have ego.
Right.
I mean, Flair is top. He was top king of WCW and NWA.
That's right.
You come in, you step down a peg or two when you're in the because Hogan is the king. We can have two kings.
Right.
Same the Game of Thrones.
Hell,
But so Flair knew his order.
right.
He's not been in wrestling forever not to know. Okay, I come into the company. I'm not the top guy.
Right.
Sting, see, Sting knew his place,
Right.
and he knew that he was not supposed to win.
Right.
That's why Hunter, who has been here for years, he cheated, but he still won.
But it makes sense now that like Triple H, you gotta look at the big picture. Triple H said, "Everybody, don't get so upset. You gotta look at the big picture. The big picture is Sting lost to Hunter. Hunter cheated, and then later on, the promo wouldn't have worked if Sting would have won. He'd come out there and they're bragging
Yeah, no.
because here's the end result. The authorities got to get what's coming to them eventually.
Of course.
And what
WrestleMania
that-
32.
Thank you. What's that coming to is Hogan. Speaking of Hogan.
Who wants to wrestle at WrestleMania?
He does. He's saying that Vince agreed to let him wrestle. Oh my gosh.
No. Boo. Okay.
We're going to have Hogan versus Heath Slater. He makes all the legends
We'll have
look
Hogan
good.
versus Flair.
Hogan versus Flair.
With
In a wheelchair
With
match.
Shawn Michaels as special
And
referee.
they're all three in a wheelchair. But anyway. So,
He super kicks Flair and he super kicks Hogan.
right? With a willy. With a willy. You know? That's pretty good. So, anyway, that's what I'm saying. They're getting their just due. Because what's the bigger story? The bigger story is not Sting coming back after all, or coming to the WWE after all these years and giving Triple H what's due to him. No, the bigger story is the big Hollywood superstar, The Rock, coming in and giving Triple H what he deserves, which is a good old butt ripping on his candy booty. Okay, that's a bigger story. That's going to get more publicity. That's going to be all over the news. That's going to be on Entertainment Tonight. That's going to be everywhere. Not Sting.
No,
And
because
Sting knows that.
I mean, Sting can still come out ahead in the end anyway.
Right. He can still get another match.
Because Rock is not
right.
going to stay around. Rock will do his match at WrestleMania next year against Hunter.
And be
Rock
on a
will
plane
roll away.
that same night.
So who says the stipulation is if Rock wins, Stephanie are completely out of control, out of
And
power,
then Sting becomes general.
and Rock names the one who takes over.
Boom!
And it could be anybody.
End
Could be
result.
Daniel Bryan.
Could be Daniel Bryan.
Could be Sting. Could be.
There's got to be an end
Could be.
result.
It could be anybody who's been there before.
Yes. Bring old Teddy Long back.
No, we don't need that many tag matches.
That's all they do on SmackDown now. But anyway,
I think we need a name for our next tournament.
What?
The Teddy Long Tag Team Tournament.
Teddy Long Tag Team Invitational Tournament.
That's it, folks. That's what's coming up after we get
Mark it down.
Not
Right?
soon,
Circle it. So, school's in right now.
School is in session.
A through F, we're giving grades out, people.
And every few weeks or so, we're going to give our report card of a few wrestlers.
The
here.
top rope reality report card. I like it.
So do you want to start with a good grade or a
We're
terrible
gonna go
grade?
from the worst to the best.
Worst from the worst to the best.
That's right.
Well, coming in with a big old F.
Big ol' F.
Los Matadores.
Yes, their gimmick.
We say they are failing.
But it's so funny. They know they're failing because they're letting primetime players joke on the fact that they're not Mexicans.
Nobody knows it.
They're Puerto Ricans. But yes, they get an F. D is, I think a lot of this has to do with the ego. Because this guy's character was getting over great.
It was.
And then he got injured, and then they said, nah, never mind.
But after looking at what's happening with him and how things are going, I believe he deserves a D. Nice little way up there.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
True professional right here, folks.
True professional. And C,
Which was on the verge of a D, but he just enough there.
at least in the not dark matches, but in the on the live events, at least he's getting Russell Kane. Better than what Bo Dallas is doing. So I think Bo Dallas fought Zack Ryder or something like that. Sad, but anyway. No, let's
Zack
see.
Ryder didn't believe.
That's true. And this next person, big letter C, is how would you do a lisp here? We the people.
Yeah.
We the people.
We the people believe that Jack Swagger deserves a C.
A fee.
Middle of the road is Jack.
A fee.
Jack can be a B minus or an F.
Yeah.
He's running that.
Because he's so forgettable.
Jack can be he's A.
Kind of like a Dusty Rose with a lisp.
Slap your face. Jack Swagger's never a Dusty Rose.
Oh, I'll tell you what how I'm talking about now.
Because he did not wine
Just
and
actually
dine
spit.
with kings and queens.
I dine with on pork and beans with the
Right.
with the people in the alleys. Whatever.
Coming in with a big old B.
We're gonna be the only people that are not in the WWE. So can you give us an answer of why they're on here? What gives them a reason to be the letter B?
Because they are.
Oh,
The Red Dragons.
the Red Dragon. See, we need
Or as he said, Red Dragon.
like a red wagon.
Yeah, they are the little Red Dragons. They
New
could.
red wagon. I'm just saying it's kind of weird that they do the. I guess it's because they're saying capital R for red and then capital D for dragon. Still stupid. Still stupid looking.
Red Dragon, just.
But I'm fans. Bobby Fish, the fish tank, if you will. I'm just saying he has a little talk show.
And the man who gets a big old grade of A from Top Row Rally in this school
He's the
in Southern-
future.
He is the future. If nothing happens to him, he will go very, very far. He will be
Don't
a
get
He'll be a multi-time tag team champion, Intercontinental champion, world champion. He will have the triple crown.
He gonna be cripple crown.
He
And the cripple crown goes to Daniel Bryan.
Yes,
Cripple crown.
Brian is the Triple Crown champion.
Cripple
He'll
crown.
be the Triple Crown champion. Hashtag Triple Crown champion.
It's up there somewhere.
It'll be up here somewhere, yes.
Cripple crown.
Seth Rollins. Oh my goodness.
Woo! Cripple crown, baby.
It's so late. That's what it is. It's so late.
It's so late. You don't even know what time it is right now in YouTube land, almost at TV land. We've had to step up. I guess some people.
We are professionals.
I guess people can hook up their computers to the TV. I mean, we'll be on TV land.
That's true.
That is
Well,
true.
we're on TV land, but
It's on television.
it's a lot. Triple C.
That is funny. Cripple crown.
All right, folks.
And next week, ladies and gentlemen, we crown the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, according to Tap Rope Reality.
Oh yes. Who will it be? Will it be the Macho Man Randy Savage or the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels?
Plus, wrestlers who Hogan refused to lose against. Number 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You don't want to miss that discussion.
Austin 316 says I just can't beat Hogan.
That's right. 5 more of the 100 greatest wrestling pay-per-views you must see before you die. Plus, news, countdowns, SummerSlam 1990 talk, and oh, so much more.
So that's it, folks, for this week of episode 56. Next week will be the Heinz 57 of Top Rope Reality. All the different flavors, all the different tastes, but so good.
That's right. Mix it all up and it's so tasty. That's Top Rope Reality.
Okay, Dusty.
That's right. Heinz 57, if you will, next week.
But for always, I'm Mike Hogan. For always, I'm Mike Hogan.
Always.
And he sometimes is just a
And
kind
sometimes there's a cop.
And this is Top Rope Rowdy, and I hope you enjoyed this show like we did. I know it ran a little long for some of y'all's taste, but hey.
You can always pause and come back later.
That's right. It is the internet, folks.
It is the internet.
Stop being a bunch of babies.
That's right, because we're on the YouTube.
And we'll see you next week for Heinz 57 of Top Rope Reality, right here on the YouTube.
Exactly.
We'll see you next week.